Hi and welcome. My name is Michelle and I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And today I wanted to share with you more about why you feel like you can't stop eating just at one cookie, one piece of cake, one whatever. So I totally get it. When I was dieting and emotionally eating, I found that I would eat all the cookies, all the cake, all the chocolate. Whatever was out, I just overconsumed it. And so it's not really one clear-cut reason that this is happening. So I'm going to give you a few examples. And so before we kind of dive into that, I'm just going to describe what emotional eating is. So emotional eating is when you use food to cope with your emotions. So when you're feeling an uncomfortable emotion, if you're feeling sadness or anger, you might automatically just go towards food because you don't know how to be with those emotions, or you know you're feeling a certain way and you go towards the food because you just can't bear to feel that way. So you use food to cope. But that's really just a band-aid solution. And so it'll keep kind of sabotaging our efforts to be healthy and to move forward and to just feel good in our body. So I'm going to share with you why you might feel, out of control around certain foods. And especially for an emotional eater, you're not going to be binging on carrots and cucumbers. You're going to be eating all of the processed foods like cookies and cakes and like saltier foods like chips. You're just going to eat and want to consume them. And so how can you tell what's really going on for you? So the first thing I'm going to say is that you want to really check in if you are truly hungry or emotionally eating. If you know for sure you're an emotional eater, you're emotionally eating in that moment, you're just taking the food, you're eating it, you cannot stop, it's because that food is giving you pleasure. So all food gives us pleasure, even the carrots and the cucumbers, but processed foods, because of the way they're made with their fat content and sugar and different chemical compounds, they become really addictive to our brain. And we're already using food to kind of cope with our emotions, which is a type of addiction. And then the food itself is physically addictive in the sense that it makes our brain want more and more. It kind of gives us this pleasure high. It turns on the pleasure receptors in our brain. So we want to have more and more and more. And especially if you're an emotional eater, the reason you eat is to just numb out and not feel the emotion you're feeling. So of course, if you have one cookie and you're still feeling, you want to have another and another and another, and you're going to eat all of it. The second scenario that might be happening if you're constantly eating and you don't know when to stop. So if you realize, yes, I am truly hungry, I do want this cookie, and it's almost like you have the cookie or you have the cake or you have the processed food and you keep eating and eating and eating and never feeling satisfied. Part of that reason is that these foods, they're missing components to truly satisfy hunger. So I teach this to clients. There are 4 key components to truly satisfying hunger in our body. First of all, it has to be physically satisfying, so it fills up the space in our stomach. Second, it has to have the right amount of micronutrients, so a lot of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, so it's nourishing. The third is that it has enough energy and calories. And then the fourth is that it tastes good. It's appetizing. So one cookie is going to taste good. It's going to have tons of calories, but it's not going to have a lot of micronutrients, and it's not going to take up a lot of space in our stomach. So we're going to eat and eat until we kind of feel really physically full in our stomach, and then we really get the stop eating this. And if we ate a stomach full of cookies, we're going to go way over the amount of calories we needed. We might get a bit more micronutrients, but processed foods don't have a lot of that. And so we're going to get the taste and physically filling up our stomach. And we're getting a surplus of calories, and we're still not meeting the micronutrients. So you might still feel hungry after that. And so what happens is that the body is actually crying out for nutrients, because you're eating when you were hungry, but you're not meeting the needs of the body. You're not deeply nourishing your body. And so the third thing that I see with clients, and especially I work with clients that are emotional eaters who tend to be dieters. So they've been on so many chronic diets and thinking that if they restrict or they reduce calories, etc., then they'll finally get a handle on their emotional eating. But what's really happening is that restrictive mindset of cutting out all the cakes and all the candies and all of the things, you're not having it in moderation, or you're not including it in your life, what happens mentally is that we become mentally we become very stressed out mentally, in terms of we can't have the food. We're so restrictive with ourselves that when it becomes available, or not even when it becomes available, we might just be pushing ourselves in a diet and limiting ourselves, that we just have a breaking point and we need that food because we've been telling ourselves no, no, no. And the reason I say that is that sometimes, yes, you're using it to emotionally eat, but it's the restriction that really shuts you down, constricts you in your body. Because, for instance, when you kind of heal that relationship and you allow yourself freedom around food, I'm going to speak from personal experience. I can have a box of cookies in the house if I need to, and I won't even think about it. I know I'm allowed to have a cookie whenever I want to have a cookie. So there's not that restriction. And by doing that over time, it makes you feel more at ease around that food, so you don't kind of compulsively want to eat it because you've just been denying it from yourself. It's like little kids, when you take something away, they obsess about it. They just want it because you said, no, you can't have it. And that's what you're doing to yourself. So, those are sort of the three main things I see with clients who just can't stop at eating one cookie or one piece of cake or one whatever. The first is really about emotional hunger. But there are other things that are happening too. The type of food you're eating and going towards, it makes you not want to stop. So that's if you were to have, even sometimes with like pasta, but any kind of processed food is going to make you kind of continuously want to eat, because of the properties of the food. And the third is that if you're restricting yourself from that, you're going to kind of go overboard and overindulge when you do get your hands on those foods. So I hope this video has shown you, what might be happening for you when you go towards the food. And these are things that we cover in my program, the Emotional Eating Evolution program. We dive into these and we create a way of eating that is nourishing and really focuses on digestion. We go into, removing that sort of lack mindset around that diets really perpetuate. And of course, we dive deeper into the emotions that are underneath the emotional eating. So if this is resonating with you and you feel like you need more support, please reach out and book in a call to see if the program is a fit. So on the call, we'll just see if where you are at and the goals you have, if we can meet those needs to get you to where you want to be. So thanks so much for watching. And of course, if you have any questions, please leave them below. And please be sure to like and subscribe. And I look forward to sharing more with you. And I hope you have a great day.